Welcome to Everything Co-op, bringing you information on how cooperatives can help improve your quality of life. This show is being sponsored by the National Co-op Bank, NCB. The NCB is dedicated to strengthening communities nationwide for the delivery of banking and financial services for the nation's cooperatives, their members, and other socially responsible organizations. For more information on the power of community ownership, visit ncb.coop. That's ncb.coop. Now stay tuned for your host, Vernon Oakes.
And a good morning to everybody out there on this rainy Thursday morning. We thank God for the rain because we need rain for our plants and flowers. In order to get kale or collard greens, we have to have that rain. So we have a wonderful, wonderful overcast day here in the nation's capital. And we are talking today with Shirley Sarmiento. Good morning, Shirley.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing just great. I'll tell everybody out there how we met. Last month, November, I think it was, I went to Cincinnati to the Cincinnati Union Cooperative Initiative, and I met Shirley out there. It was a wonderful 2 days of talking about how to create co-ops, what's the benefits of co-ops, looking at the Mondragon experience in Mondragon in Spain, and the Boscherism, they tell me, of Italy. I'm sorry. Did I have it right, Shirley?
Yes, in Spain. Mm-hmm.
In Spain, okay.
Mondragon, Spain, came from Spain, yes.
Okay. So you're telling me that you're starting a co-op?
Yes.
What kind of co-op are you starting?
We are starting a weatherization co-op to make sure every house is weatherized, every family is warm and secure, and we do audits, we do weather stripping, doors, fixing all the drafts in the house, because if you're not warm, you're sick, and you've got a drafty house, and provide energy-efficient improvements.
And save some money.
And save some money, absolutely.
Warm, cozy, healthy, and save some money. I like that. What part of the world are you doing this co-op in?
We're doing it in Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York.
Mm-hmm. Up near Canada.
Yeah, I went to Niagara Falls once up that way.
Yes. Okay. Actually, we did a housing. We did 20 or 30 houses up in Niagara Falls for the HEC program. We provided conservation and safety tips, and we told you about the subsidized program. We also have an educational component to our weatherization company to weatherize your home or replace appliances and cut energy.
Now, your background, you're a writer, you're a poet, and you're an actress?
Well, some of that. I've been writing and doing that for 50 years, but my actual work is I started Urban Arts and African American Artists Agenda because a lot of places they didn't give artists a chance to develop themselves. So where I worked at, they had a small company, but then I branched out and started my own company, Urban Arts, Buffalo Urban Arts and African American Artists Agenda. And then for there, my social work activist, I graduated from the Women's Studies Department at the University of Buffalo, and I've been active at I worked 8 years in the Peace Center, doing alternatives to the military. So I've been active all my life doing, activism and fighting for civil rights, human rights, our rights, black women rights.
Okay. How you do all that? You look like you're about 40 years old. What is? How'd you do all that?
How did I do all that?
Yeah. And you look so young. I mean, hey, why a co-op?
Well, one of the things, and I remember from years ago, we have a co-op here in Buffalo, and I was so interested in it because I thought that people could invest in their own selves. And we do have people don't understand that co-ops there's different kinds of co-ops. We have, for example, here in Buffalo, we do have a food co-op, which is very nice. Actually, one of the men that said at one of the cooperative banks that deals with Buffalo, he was at the Cincinnati convention. Mm-hmm. And anyway, we talked a little bit. They did a food co-op here, and the food co-op, what it started off as, kind of helping all people and doing things and picking up bags of fruits and groceries and as a healthy item. But now, to me, my personal opinion, that the one that we have now that I spoke to him about at the convention was that it got a little bougie. It went kind of up, and then I don't think the members get enough. I mean, you pay membership, but what do you get? You don't really get a discount off of food. Some my girlfriend is in it, and she said, well, one of the girls in our co-op, women in our co-op is in it, and she said, well, you get money at the end of the year, $20, and then you get a chance to reinvest back in the agency of your choice. But for me, out for co-ops is investing in our own selves and generating our own money, because big companies, of course, don't hire African Americans, even though we are qualified. I've been to college for 20 years. And we trained at the co-op at the Turner Construction Company. We did OSHA training. We did.
Shirley, let me go back a minute, though, to this food co-op. And I want to give a couple definitions. First off, a co-op can be any business you can think of. And this is for the folks out there. Shirley already knows this. So if it's owned by the people that work in the business, if they own and control the business, then it's called a worker cooperative, if the employees own it. But if it's owned by the people that uses the products and services, it's called a consumer cooperative. And examples of consumer cooperatives are housing co-ops, because the people that live there own the building, and they own and control it. If it's some food co-ops are consumer co-ops, where the people that buy in the store, the shop in the store, own it.
Right.
And some of them are worker co-ops, and the people that work in it own it. And I've seen some food co-ops that have both worker co-ops and consumer co-ops owning it. So you can get a mixture. But credit unions, a lot of people belong to credit unions and do not realize they are co-ops. And it's a consumer co-op. The people that put their monies in and have their checking accounts own that business. Now, the reason I wanted to go back to that, Shirley, is because if you're a member of a food co-op, one of the things that any co-op, this food co-op you're talking about in Buffalo, the members are the ones normally that control it. I don't know about that one in terms of whether the members are workers or if the members are consumers. So if the consumers own it, then the consumers are the ones that would vote for the board of directors. They could run for the board or vote for the board, and then they control it. So what I would want to do, from based on what you're saying in terms of it's gotten bougie, normally that means the prices perhaps have gone up, the products perhaps don't, everyday products, and you don't get a big return. You don't get the discounts off the food, so again, the prices may be high. One of the nice things about a co-op, and I think that is the fourth principle, you put money in, but if you put money in, you can also get money out. The 7 cooperative principles. That's number 3, economics. Members contribute equally to the co-op. And if there are benefits like dividends at the end of the year, you get those dividends. And normally it's based on how much food you buy if it's consumer cooperative. So I would suggest to you, if the co-op isn't going the way you would like for it to be, then get involved. Get your girlfriend to run for the board. You run for the board. And then you create the policies. That's what I like about co-ops. The members, it's open, number 1, volunteer and open membership. So anybody can join. It's democratic control and this economic piece. The fourth one is autonomy and independence, and that just says that the co-op has to be the ones that make the decisions on how to run it. So I heard what you said, and I would challenge you if you...
No, I think you're absolutely right with that, but I don't know, this is like I said, me personally, I think that the prices have gone a little up, and it knocks out the average person that actually a co-op was kind of designed for, to me. Actually, one time I was in there, a lady said that, and it happened to be a white lady. She said, I wouldn't even shop here, but my husband got cancer, and she said, I can't afford this stuff, So anyway, it's got, to me, it just from 20, 30 years ago that we helped start the food co-op, that the changes, and I understand that the economy has gone up and all that, but I thought, maybe in my mind, I thought it was to serve everybody, not just the consumer group of people.
Well, my challenge to you is the co-op will serve its members. And it's the members that are going to participate in it and make the decisions in it and create the policies. And if those members are on the upper income level, if those are the ones that are active and making those, then that's the members it's going to serve.
I hear you. I got you.
And the way that you get it to serve you is get some people like you that have the same tastes and maybe financing, economics, and get in there and get on the board.
Right. They had a board thing. for the co-op. Now, you're getting back, you're saying something about bank co-ops. Now, we do have, for our own Cooperative Energy Solutions, for our own co-op, we put money into the Cooperative Bank here in Buffalo. And actually, I went and, because somebody said we wanted to do something to put logos to show that we support cooperative banking, and they told me that we couldn't use the logo. So we were our group was kind of disappointed. Said, well, we got our money in there. We can't use the logo. Mostly everybody lets you use the logo, So anyway, we were thinking about that, too, considering that, But anyway, I still understand what you're saying, but I don't know. Maybe, like you say, in the high tier and of the 4 points that you explained to me, then that makes a difference, the constituency.
Yeah, it's member control. So what members are controlling it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go back to your weatherization cooperative.
Right.
How long have you started the co-op?
Well, no, we've been working on it for 3.5 years. We just did the bylaws, and we will be doing our incorporation papers probably in the next month.
Okay. Can I ask you why it has taken you 3.5 years? It seems like a long time.
Yes, it is a very long time, but we started from the beginning. We started from, first of all, who we are, where we came from, and where we think we were going with it. We did an in-depth study of each person who was part of the co-op. Technical assistance came from PUSH. PUSH is the big agency here. We under the umbrella of PUSH. PUSH is the big agency here for sustainable housing. And under PUSH, they have quite a few different agencies under that. But we wanted to train. They wanted us to provide us with technical assistance. They wanted us to learn every inch of from the beginning up until today. And
so you've been doing a lot of training.
Yes, training. We trained with the HEC program. We trained with the 7 highly effective people steps, Covey.
Mm-hmm.
We did Turner Construction. We did investment banking. We did 2 or 3 retreats. We did the SBA, Small Business Association, Sue McCartney and Cliff Bell. We did, and so they planned out all this, and so it was very thorough. Some people thought it took too long, but a couple of us been in there for the long haul, and it has been a very exciting and acknowledging reward for us to get the DBA and now the incorporation papers bylaws.
Shirley, we're going to have to take our first break. I really want to come back and talk about this training. And I said it seemed to be a long time, but if you're doing the training, it really is not a long time. And that's what I'm finding. I want to come back and talk to you about that when we come back off the break, this training, because the 5th principle of cooperative is education, training, and information. And I'm finding that's why co-ops, when they get formed, if you take the time to get the training like you've done, then they don't fall. But we'll be right back. We'll get the weather, the traffic, news, and we'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
1450 WOL.
Information is power. I like that motto. That's WOL's motto, and it fits very well with this program because the National Cooperative Bank is providing information through this program about cooperatives. The thing that you must know about information, you don't get the power from information. You get the power from using information, getting the information, getting the training, getting the knowledge that you need. And if you use that information, put it to work, then you get power. We have Shirley Sarmiento on the line from Buffalo, New York, and they're starting a weatherization company to make sure that the houses are warm. They said if the houses are warm, it's not drafts, you don't get as much sickness, and you don't pay as high utility bills. So they get savings for our economy, savings for our world. You don't need as much gas or electric. So it's best for the environment and best for the particular homes. Shirley, when we left, we were talking about you've taken 3.5 years to get started. You're in the legal phase now. You got your bylaws. You're incorporating. And some people think that's a long time. And you said, no, you've been staying in there. You've been getting the training you needed to run a successful business from a lot of different people. Can you tell us some of the things that you have personally learned?
Well, first of all, I learned how almost like one person, one vote to get everybody get a chance to speak. in different other companies, everybody don't get a chance to speak. Like I say, I've worked 30 years in different companies, and I sometimes never had a chance to speak, or they only had certain people speak.
So let me add to that. That's the second principle for co-ops. That's democratic member control, and that is normally everybody has one share. You get one vote, and one of the things that's really critical here is people have to learn how to speak and talk because, again, as Shirley said, she's worked for 30 years, and you don't normally have that voice. And so, Shirley, I'm in the process of working with the employees of the company I own, a property management company, to become a worker cooperative. And we've been doing it now for only 9 months. And I thought this was going to be a 3-month process. It's probably going to be another year or two because of the training. And it's getting me used to not where it has been because I'm the owner and the boss. When I would say something, people wouldn't even challenge me. Well, with the training we have, we get to challenge. We're at that point now, and now we're learning how to make decisions together. That's for me and for everybody there. And that's not easy to get done. It takes some training. It really does, because it can be a risky situation for people to say things when they normally have not had a say-so. So, yeah, that's big time.
Yes, because we do a thing at ground rules, and it's one mic, one person talking at a time, and then we have wait. Why am I talking? Then we have respect others' idea, and actually D is free to pee. E, active listening, see things from speaker's perspective, and F, stay on point, topic. Stay on the topic, and then G, parking lot for issues beyond that conversation. You can put that in parking lot and put it in for another meeting. So we do have some ground, and I did learn that, and I thought that was wonderful because I never learned that in the actual workplace.
You just taught me something. I like that. Wait, why am I talking?
Okay. Right. You know, and then we go on to decision-making process, worker-owned cooperative meeting, structure decision, identify the problem, clarify and contextualize discussion, diversity of ideas, perspectives and concerns, agreement, disagreement, and underlying reasons, syntheses of issues, evaluate the finished product, restate the decision, and take action. So anyway,
so that's a process for making a decision and working together.
Right.
Okay.
And so it is very difficult because we did have some ups and downs, some ins and outs, but we learned from it.
So it's learning how to work together to come up with a collective decision. When you synthesize the alternatives, look at the different alternatives, and you go through, and I use the word analyze. So you go through and you look at every decision and you analyze, you talk about it, you let everybody have a say. And that process takes time where, like the example I was telling you, with my being the owner, I would get information, make the decision, and we move. A lot of times people wouldn't move with me. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
But when you go through this process that you're talking about, then everybody have a say. You are expected to do the research and the reading and get in and become informed. Each individual becomes informed, and therefore they can make an informed decision down there at the bottom of that and then get into action.
Yeah.
Love it.
And that's what we did. And then we also did the public narrative.
Wait a minute. Public narratives?
The public narrative, yes. We went through public narrative training.
What's that?
The public narrative training is just, first of all, it's almost like how they did a 7-minute presentation of Obama talking about himself, the story of self and what brought an individual to the table and what are your values and how the events in your life motivate you to want to come up with this type of work that you'll be doing. Now, the next thing is the story of us.
Wait. I want to get this first one. I like that one a lot. The public narrative is talking about self.
The story of self, yes.
Okay.
And it shows how well you relate around the people around you, around the room. Okay, and the next story is the story of us. And it's about the challenges that we face together as a group, how the values that you hold dear will tie into the work that we all will be doing together.
So it's all surrounded by values.
Yes, and then they have the story of now. It's 3 of them. Creating a sense of urgency. Now, do you want to be a part of this group? If you are you willing to come along with us for this long haul? How to move people into action using various emotions, such as anger, apathy, fear, solidarity, and make the person feel they can make a difference,
Well, yeah, I'm almost at a loss of words because what you're talking about, story of self, story of us, story of now.
How to move people to action using various emotions as frustration, apathy, fear, hope, solidarity, and self-doubt. Can you make a difference? Will you make a difference? And this is what we have to do.
Shirley, who's doing this training? Because I would like to get it for us.
Bush is doing training with
Bush.
us. Johnny Fenderson. We had 7 people training us for 3.5 years. I can give you push information.
Because we hired a gentleman, Jim Johnson, out of DAWN, D-A-W-N, is Democracy at something, and they're part of the U.S. Federation of Worker Cooperatives. Mm-hmm. The worker cooperatives that I said earlier, if you look at the normal business that gets started, an individual has a great idea, they go out and they start a business, they may get a small SBA loan, they may get their friends and family to help get them money to start this business, and something like 75-80% fail in the first 5 years. But a co-op, a worker cooperative, normally you get 3, 4, 5 people together, 7, 8, 9, 10, a group of people that have different skill sets. And then they've got to learn how to work together. And what Shirley is telling us is they've spent 3.5 years learning how to work as individuals and what are their values and getting knowledge and how to apply that knowledge and how to get people to move together now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, not mañana, but how you get people to move now. That's exciting stuff. And therefore, worker co-ops with this training, with these 7 principles, and we've talked about 5 of them. The one I like most is education, training, and information. I call it just-in-time knowledge, Shirley. You get the information you need to put into place, make choices and decisions now so that you can have a successful business. And most cooperative businesses are successful because of that. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's always an issue of finances and capital. But my sense is if you get the knowledge, you can get the capital.
Absolutely.
Well, where have you learned about how you manage and read financial statements? Have you had that training yet?
Well, for me, I already had my business, Buffalo Urban Arts and stuff, and the SBA, the Small Business Association, we have latched into them to show us how to keep financial records and what things are most important. Turner Construction showed us a lot about construction applications and money and jobs and bidding for jobs and stuff. But actually, I can't say that we actually did paperwork for the co-op because, as far as we're concerned, I think they were saying like an accountant or something like that. People United for Sustainable Housing is like our head person, agency. Those are the ones who trained us, and they already, from my knowledge, have people that are already accountants and all that kind of stuff. So what we would do, what they would do, would train us, and we would kind of merge with them. Okay,
Shirley, we have to take our second break. Mm-hmm. If there's anybody out there that want to have a question or comment of me or Shirley up in Buffalo, you can call us in at 1-800-450-7876. We're going to take a break for the weather and traffic and news, and then we'll be right back to talk more to Shirley, who has been working 3.5 years to get her business up and going. We'll be right back.
$14.50 WOL.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Vernon Oakes. We're here with Everything Cooperative. You know, the National Cooperative Bank sponsors this program. I say this all the time, so that you can get the knowledge that you would need to start a cooperative or go find a cooperative to either work for one or find a credit union that you could join or housing co-op. And NCB's mission is to help cooperatives grow by supporting and being an advocate for America's cooperatives and their members, placing special emphasis on serving the needs of communities that are economically challenged, serving the needs of communities that are economically challenged. And most often, those communities are housed, those communities are in poverty areas are normally mostly people of color, African Americans, Native Americans, Latino Americans. So you get all of the people of color, and you look at the community they live in, more often they are economically challenged or low-income communities. So these co-ops is a way of helping people come together, form businesses like we're talking with Shirley about. Weatherization is something that needs to happen. Most co-ops that are formed to solve some community problem. I have one gentleman on here that said if there's no community problem, there's no need for a co-op. There's no need for that particular business. Last week, what we talked about, Shirley, on the program was cities building community wealth. And this book that came out by Democracy Collaborative, and you could go on their webpage, democracycollaborative. I think it is org. I'll check that out at the next break. And you can get a copy of this book. But they looked at 20 cities: Austin, Boston, Burlington, Chicago, New York, Minneapolis, Philadelphia. I'm not going to name all of them. Seattle. But I noticed Buffalo is not here, and it sounds like you are doing some great things there. I noticed that Cincinnati is not here, and that's where we met. It seems like they're doing some great things.
Right.
So I got a sense that this is not a complete list of those cities that are helping normally the folks in the lower economic strata help to create businesses that create jobs and create wealth for them. This is financial wealth and social wealth, and like you said, it also gets into physical wealth because if you don't have drafts, it means that you can stay warm, and if you can stay warm, then you don't get sick. Also, you don't have as high a utility bill, and that you can keep more money in your pocket. So you can get financial wealth by saving, and you can get financial wealth by having larger incomes. In this book, the first person they talk about was a lady in Brooklyn who was a maid, and she was Christina was her name, but she was making $7 an hour. And by joining and forming a co-op for maid services, she was able to get $20 an hour. That's 3 times.
Right.
Just by getting in business, helping to start the business, learning, as Shirley's talking about now, it takes time. And that's what you've got to put into it. And I had a gentleman, I was talking to him, he used to work for HUD, Dr. Bostic, and he was the head of research. And I was trying to get him to do some research, Shirley, about housing co-ops. The research I've read said they're so much better than apartment buildings for a whole bunch of reasons. And the first thing he said to me was, co-ops are not for everybody. And I didn't even say that, so I didn't know where he was coming from, but he's absolutely correct. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to work. If you're willing to do those 2 things, then co-ops are for you. And you have a desire to live a better quality of life. So that's what you're doing. I take it you, and how many people are in this co-op or doing this training?
Well, right now it's probably about 6.
Uh-huh.
We started off with 30 people 3 years ago, probably 30.
Okay.
People wanted to rush it, and people got anxious, and people just wanted to go do the job. But the way Push and our trainers wanted us to know everything from the inside out. So people fell off, and some would like to come back once it started. I think they think it's too long of a process, but I know that trying to do all this, it takes a long process. It took me 20 years to get through college, so 3 years ain't nothing to me. But also, I wanted to ask you, what was the name of that book again?
It's called Cities Building Community Wealth, and it's by Democracy Collaborative, and they're right here out of Maryland. And I'm looking at the book, trying to get it's democracycollaborative.org.
Okay.
And the lady there that's in charge of, if you want a copy, you could just call Violetta, Violeta Duncan, Duncan. And her telephone number is 202-559-1473. She's at extension 109.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So it's a great book. They just sent it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple people on the program from Democracy Collaborative. So they sent me the book. I talked about it exclusively last week. They say that there's 7 drivers. So I'm saying this again for everybody out there, but they say there's 7 drivers to this economic development. And the first one is a place. And they're saying that you have to it has to benefit local residents.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay? Utilize local assets of many kinds and benefit local residents. So place is whatever community it is, low-income communities we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second one is ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Promote local broad-based ownership. That's the fundamental of thriving local economy. That's cooperative. And then there's this multiplier effect. And I learned this in an economic class. First I heard about this, that in African-American communities or poverty communities, and normally the money only stays in a community one time. That's somebody goes out of the community, makes the money, and they go out of the community to spend the money.
Yes, that was probably that's one of our problems.
Yep, that's a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're in affluent communities, normally comprised of majority Caucasians. The money turns 6, 7, 8 times in that community. So somebody works in their community, and they get paid.
Yeah.
Then they go to their local food store, or they go to their local cleaners, or they go get their hair done, or whatever. And then that person lives in the community, and they go do the same kinds of things, and that money just stays in that community 7, 8 times.
That's right.
Okay, they bank in their community. Where in lower income communities, the bank isn't there, the food store, they call them food deserts. There's no place you can go get your fresh vegetables and fruits. So it comes into the community and it goes out too often. And so you don't get this creating the wealth because of the multiplier. So in this community wealth building, that's one of the things that's purposed, that it is local residents, the business are in the local community, and encourage institutions to buy local strategies to help circulate this money, creating more and more wealth. And then the fourth one is collaboration. Bring many players to the table, nonprofits, philanthropists, anchors, and cities. And anchor institutions. And they show those in these different communities. Cleveland is the one I know most about.
The Green.
Green Forest, Green Work, Green. They've created 3 co-ops.
Yes, but theirs co-op is from the hierarchy down. Ours is from the bottom up.
Oh, I didn't understand that difference.
Yes.
Okay. So in this inclusion, the fifth one is that the aim is to create inclusion, living wage jobs that help all families enjoy economic security. Where they say that the main metric in the traditional approach is that the governments are looking for creating more jobs. So that's the metric. They're not concerned about if they're good paying jobs or not, just do they create more jobs. And they also don't consider, like when a Walmart comes in, when Walmart comes in, they may create some jobs. They're going to be low paying jobs, and they're going to cause some other businesses to go out of business.
Yes. Absolutely. Walmart is big, and like they said, they act like they create a lot of jobs, but they don't actually create a lot of jobs. Plus, they pay low wages, and then they cut out the small businesses around them. They lose. And some cities that I've read and researched, they don't even let Walmart come in, and I think that's a great thing.
For those reasons.
Yes.
It hurts the local economy. All of a sudden, Walmart's
mom and pop stores.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. Yes. And I think that's great.
And the fifth one is the sixth part of their 7 drivers is workforce. And this is that fifth principle. This is mainly what we've been talking about. Link training to employment. And focus on the training for the jobs, the people that have a lot of barriers to entry. So you want to make sure that people that have barriers to entry to jobs, African Americans, Native Americans, Latino Americans, people of color, that you get them the training that they need for the job. And in the traditional way, they look at generalized training. So you train folks, but they don't train them for the job, so they still can't get jobs. They have training that is useless. And I think, again, I call this just-in-time knowledge. And then the seventh driver, Shirley, is develop institutions and supporting ecosystems to create new, normal, or economic activity. So you get institutions, you get the places like the push that you're talking about. You get different players in there, both people that will give grants and people that will give loans, like the National Co-op Bank and the bank that you were talking about up in Buffalo, to help the co-ops get the capital that they need, and you get the systems in place.
But I can't say that they gave the co-op money, but maybe they did, the National Co-op Bank. But they have different places in Buffalo, like the Weedy Foundation and different agencies that will give you startup money. Even the SBA here will I don't know if they'll give you startup money, but that's what they say. Actually, we went to a meeting, MWBE, Minority Women's Business Education or whatever contract. And recently they just did a thing where they going to come out and reach more people, because when we went, I told them nobody understood what they was talking about. They laid out, they need a road map. The road map is you go here, you need a road map to look at. Instead, like when I was doing my 501c3, I had to go to the SBA. I had to go to somebody else. I had to have somebody else do the amendments. I had to go to UB Law School. I had to, the system is too complicated.
That's
once
right.
They pull in the system and do a road map, it would be much easier for people to come in and do it. So one of the things at the meeting, and this was a New York State meeting, I said that nobody could understand it. And after the meeting, everybody came up to me and said, yeah, I can't understand even what they're talking about.
Okay.
So, and the contracting and the bidding training is too complicated. So what I'd like to do once we get off the ground is to like centralize that so people will be able to understand what's going on. I think that they, in a personal opinion, I think they keep it like that so people will understand what the heck is going on, so only a certain amount of people can get into the system.
That may be a purpose, but I've also found out a lot of times the trainer maybe has not had the experience you've had or I've had in starting a business. They're out of school, they're younger, and they'll come out and give training, but it's all textbook training. It's not the training that you actually need, and it's not given it to you in a way that you can get it. Yeah.
I'm not talking about the trainers. I'm talking about actual agencies.
Okay.
Agencies should provide technical assistance, and a lot of them do get paid for technical assistance, but unless you call and find them, you're not going to get it. So that's what I'm saying. Make that applicable to people who are starting co-ops, people who are starting business. I mean, it's almost like pulling teeth.
I totally agree with you.
And that's just what we did, pull teeth. But because I had went through it before with my own business, my 501c3, Buffalo Urban Arts, that I kind of knew, and I knew people that would kind of get us through. Actually, and some colleges with law schools actually do you a free business package. I know the University of Buffalo used to. They gave me a free business package, and they
Shirley, we're going to have to take our final break.
Okay.
And it goes by real fast. We're going to have one more segment. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this roadmap and going to SBA and what you can get from them. But we'll be right back. Please don't touch that dial.
$14.50 WOL.
Information is power. The National Cooperative Bank is, again, sponsoring this program. The customers of NCB could be any cooperative, such as grocery wholesale co-ops, purchasing co-ops, or housing co-ops. Other customers share in the spirit of cooperation driven by democratic organizing principles. They may be Alaskan or Native American enterprises, which by their very nature are member-run and member-controlled. Others may be community health centers or charter schools driven entirely by community needs. What they all have in common is a single fundamental principle. They have joined together cooperatively to meet personal, social, and or business needs. And normally, Shirley, create a community in a co-op. And that's what I heard you talking about when you were talking about the different training that you have, knowing about self and us and knowledge and doing things now is how you create this community so you can work together and solve problems together and get things done. So we've talked about a lot right now. You've been working and getting knowledge to create this weatherization co-op. You're doing your legal work now.
Yes.
What do you do next?
What you mean for the legal work?
No, after you get your legal work in place, you've got your legal framework, you got your bylaws, you got that going. Then what do?
We secure an office to work out of.
Okay.
And PUSH, the organization PUSH, is buying a school, and prayerfully we'll have an office in the school. They're redesigning School 77 in Buffalo, and they're putting living assistance housing up there, and they're putting offices, and they're putting bicycles and daycares and all that in there. And School 77 have several garages, so we'll have garages to put our trucks in and our supplies in, and that should be done within, the following this year. I mean, not this year because it's the end of the year, but it should be completed by 2016. In the meantime, we have a few temporary offices in places where we can stay that are already part of the construction companies.
Okay, so you have your office, you have your framework, your legal framework.
Yes.
Are you going to have to borrow any money, or are you getting grants, or how you going to get money to?
Well, first of all, we did a fundraiser. We did a fundraiser at the Colored Musicians Club, the oldest colored musicians club in the United States. We did a fundraiser there to start putting money in our pot. And actually, we're doing $20 a month, the members, and then we're doing the projects. We already did some projects. So out of the projects, I think everybody got paid $200. Team leaders. So out of that, we requested that people put in kickback money, $50 or $100, and this is the second time that we did government projects, and so people kick back. So we're still planning some more fundraisers to add money to our base, our seed money.
So you're using the term kickback. I'm hearing you saying they're investing part of the money back into the business.
Yes,
okay.
We are, the core group, and taking donations from any anchor organization or taking donations from anybody. What about you?
Well, are you a 501c3? Are you a for-profit or non-profit?
We're for-profit.
I wouldn't give you any money. I wouldn't give you any money. I give money to the Federation of Southern Co-ops. They're 501c, and they're helping co-ops build.
Oh, they dispense the money. I hear you.
And I'm also giving money to, which is it's not a tax write-off, but the
Right.
International Cooperative Alliance, because they go around the world and help build co-ops.
Right.
So my goal, just to answer you, my goal is promote co-ops, develop co-ops, preserve co-ops. I'm wanting to help to start a community college that does nothing but teach about co-ops.
Right.
And we may be doing that in Epps, Alabama at the Federation. We're talking about working that out and doing that. And I'm also donating money to those ones I've just told you about. And I'm also looking to donate money to the U.S. Federation of Worker Co-ops. So I'm donating money to people that are doing those things, that is promoting and developing and training people in co-ops.
Okay. Well, that's good. At least you're doing it.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, like we trained the Buffalo State Continual Professional Studies, Entrepreneurship, Effectiveness. We did that for 8 weeks. Then we did the MWBE and Small Business Contractor Bond Readiness Training Program, New York State Bonding Initiative and Model Contracting Development Program. And we are coming in as for profit, but we will have educational pieces. We will have training pieces. We're visioning a store that you could buy our T-shirts, cups, and ink pens and different stuff like that people buy to generate money for cooperative living expenses, because we do have to, we have to have money to function.
That's absolutely correct. So what I'm hearing you saying is you're doing your legal work, your bylaws. I guess you have
articles of incorporation.
You have an employee manual?
Not yet, but we are working on that. We do have that. We're working that, and our governance and our limited liability, and that would be the first thing. I don't have it right here, but we do have an employee manual, recruitment, and who would be interested, and who would like to train, and who would be a part of it, and what you have to go through to be a part of it.
Have you got your tax ID number yet?
No, we don't.
That's That's the easiest part of it. That's real easy to do. I'm so amazed.
Yeah, we probably can. But see, all PUSH has people on staff that do this kind of stuff.
I understand.
Yeah. So
I'm going through this list of things because it's stuff that I've had to do, and I've had to help other people. I'm trying to help the people out there that may be wanting to start a business look at the different kinds of things you have to do to get started. So that's why I'm asking you these questions.
The EIN.
Yes.
Yeah, I have one for my old business, but we didn't get one for our cooperative, and I don't know if we will be using PUSH's EIN, so we might not have to submit now.
The only thing is you can go online and get it in 5 minutes now. They make that very easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I just did IRS and got on their web and said I want an EIN number. I'm buying a piece of property and we putting an LLC together, and we need an EIN number for that, and it was so easy, it wasn't funny anymore.
Oh, that was good. That's great.
But SBA, if you go on the SBA webpage and you click on starting a business, they talk about how you create your business plan, how you choose your business structure. That's the legal stuff we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How you register your business, both in here it would be at DC, DCRA.
No, see, we already had the meeting with the SBA.
I know. And then it's different people you have to go to register,
Right.
obtain your business license and permits, learn about business law. And I got to tell you, if it seems like now I'm getting sued a lot in my property management business. Either a tenant is suing me, I'm suing them.
You're kidding.
Oh, no, yeah, I know. If I had known how much I needed in the law, I would have paid more attention in my law class.
Mm-hmm,
Okay?
mm-hmm.
So it's always going back. And then another one is how you finance your business, then you look at exploring different loans, grants, and business. This is all on SBA's webpage.
Mm-hmm.
Filing and paying taxes, that's critical. IRS likes to get their piece, and they like to get it on time. If you don't even file it on time, they'll come back and penalize you.
Yeah, your 1099, I think it is.
Choosing your location that you're talking about, where you're going to be, where you're going to set up, and where you're going to have, what kind of equipment you need, and where you're going to store that equipment. And their final link is hiring and training employees. And I've been doing my business for 23 years. That the most important thing that you have to do is hire and train and employees.
Mm-hmm.
You hire the right ones. And again, this is why worker co-ops work so well, is because the workers, the employees, are the ones that's making the policies and the procedures, and you feel included, and you have voice.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So. Voice, I think, is one of the top things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because everybody doesn't have voice, and coming out of a slavery mentality, too often African Americans have not had voice for some time.
Yes, absolutely.
And learning how to have voice and how to utilize that voice so that you can make informed decisions is critical, and a lot of us don't know how to do that.
Right, absolutely. Make informed decisions.
Yeah.
And speak up. Speak up for yourself. Speak up. Speak up and speak out.
Shirley. We only have a couple more minutes left. So what would you like to tell people in this last minute or so? What words of wisdom do you have for people?
Well, one of the things all I could say is raise the bar. And our co-op is always always working to have higher standards of work. We are confident, and we are continually working for new ways to improve and rebuild and build efficient, affordable, sustainable energy to provide for better cleaning, living conditions for all communities in the United States and in the world. And we take great pride in it. And I wish others would also. So
when you say raise the bar, that's with efficiencies, effectiveness, having a great product that works for everybody at a price that people can afford or pay. So that's raising the bar, and it's also getting the training you need to do all that.
Yes, absolutely.
Comes back to the training.
Putting things together. That comes back to putting things together, make things work together, train, educate yourself. We also have an educational piece in our co-op, weatherization co-op. Once we do the weatherization, we have an educational piece, and even before that, we will be doing technical training to educate people on weatherization and green efficiency and how things work and how they can educate other people. And we do a follow-up to come back and see how everybody is doing and do additional work. And with the membership, depending on the price, we will offer free services to people who we already work with, and also open membership if people were interested in joining recruitment.
So what you've talked a lot about is concern for the community, and that's the seventh principle.
Yes.
How your product will help the community you live in Buffalo, but also in the U.S. and then the world, in our whole galaxy. Shirley, thank you so much for being on. And I think I know the answer to this question. You really like what you're doing, huh?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. This is the best thing I've ever done in my life, and I'm 69 years old.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Well, I'm 68, on my way to 69. Have a great day.
You're close to me.
Yeah, we'll see everybody next Thursday. And at 69, she's starting a new business. Have a great week.
Keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
1450 WOL.